Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to LinkedIn Live Tech Talk, and this is Todd Wenzel. I've been a solutions architect at Megaport for just over 5 years, so I've definitely seen a lot since 2020, and continue to, as a company, we continue to improve services that we offer, our portal, etc. So, happy to take this time to talk a little bit about Megaport Cloud Router. And let me share the right screen. Perfect. I have to move stuff around. Okay. So today, what I wanted to talk about is the Megaport Cloud Router. This diagram will be what we do from a demo perspective. So we plan to deploy a Megaport Cloud Router in one of the Megaport Cloud Router regions or metros. And then I also want to show how you can connect your Oracle Fast Connect to the Megaport Cloud Router and an AWS Direct Connect. So that's what we're looking at today on our to-do list. And I'm having problems getting into the Megaport portal here, so let me try another way. Internet issues, I guess. So please bear with me. I will find my account in here. There we go. And go to my services tab so we can go ahead and start deploying services. So again, Megaport Cloud Router, it's a virtual router that Megaport hosts within many major metro markets across the globe. So we provide the infrastructure, it's Megaport servers, and it's really just turning up a virtual router on one of those existing servers. To get started, I can go ahead and select Create MCR. And what this will do is it will show you all of the Megaport Cloud Router locations throughout the globe. So many locations where we deploy these devices. Typically, we deploy them as close to the cloud service providers as possible because the great use case for the Megaport Cloud Router is for cloud-to-cloud computing. So in my demo today, talking about, hey, I've got Oracle workloads that need to communicate with different workloads in AWS and vice versa. We can deploy that cloud router close to those cloud regions, which will give us very low latency and hopefully fantastic performance over Megaport's private layer 2 backbone. What you'll notice here is diversity zones. So Megaport does offer diversity zones in each of the data centers. And what that really means is that Megaport deploys a server base that we'll call red, and then we'll deploy a second server base called blue. So if you are looking for diversity or high availability, we definitely recommend deploying, say, one red MCR and one blue MCR. I will go ahead and choose Ashburn. Let me just type in Ashburn here. So this shows you the 4 data centers where Megaport does deploy the cloud router. And if I am looking for a high availability pair, I definitely would like to choose 2 different data centers and then 2 different diversity zones for those configurations. I'll go ahead and select CoreSite VA1 as my choice here. And now I have my rate limit option. So a month or so ago, Megaport deployed what we call big or large MCRs, and you will see those added to your list at specific data center locations. So now you can order 1 gig, 2.5, 5, 10, and 25, 50, and 100 gig MCR bandwidth increments. So that's pretty awesome that we've enabled that. And we have a lot of customers that are taking advantage of it. So it's a great new product that we've deployed. For this demo, I'll go ahead and grab 1 gig. I will give this a name of Todd Test. In here, as always, as a customer, existing customer, new customer, the pricing for Megaport services are fully transparent, and you can choose no minimum term up to 36 months. Obviously, you can see some cost savings when you're choosing a longer term. I will stick it at 12 months. Next, the MCR ASN. So this is the Megaport public autonomous system number. And the majority of our customers just leave this ASN as is. You can change this and really use what you would like from a private ASN perspective. This ASN will be what peers directly with OCI and AWS in my use case. All right. It looks like we are assigned to the red diversity zone. So based upon what capacity is in red versus blue, our algorithm chooses the server that has the most amount of capacity available. Go ahead and select Add MCR, upper left-hand corner. We will review the order, and once we are ready to start spending some money, we'll select Order Now. All right, so it'll take about 3 minutes for this service to deploy. Next step, I want to go ahead and create my Fast Connect in Oracle. So I'll sign into my Oracle console. And I will choose Fast Connect since we are an OCI partner delivering the Fast Connect service. First thing, create my Fast Connect. Once again, I'm a Fast Connect partner. If I wanted to do a Fast Connect dedicated circuit for use of possibly MaxSec, I would use Fast Connect Direct as my connection type. And we'll give this a name of testing. Next, choose the partner, which is Megaport. And in today's session, I want to create a private virtual circuit. You can see that public virtual circuits are options as well. I want to select my DRG. So my OCI region is in US East in Ashburn. So I've got a DRG that is already set up for that. Provision bandwidth. So I have the ability to do on the partner interconnect model or fast connect model, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 10 gig port speed options. Go ahead and select 1 gig. And importantly, I do need to build out my BGP peering session. So I need to grab a couple of IPs to build that out. I'll just use the example that they provided. And then the customer BGP ASN. So this would be the ASN of my MCR. I do have the option of choosing MTU 1500 or 9000. To date, the MCR only handles 1500 MTU. Next, I will hit create. And in a second here, we will get a service key from OCI, and I will use that to build out my Megaport connection. All right, so there we are. We're sitting in a provisioning state. Let me open this up. Here is my OCID. Go ahead and give that a copy. As you can see now, my MCR is clean and green. And I'll select my Oracle tile, paste my OCID in the field. And what happened is Megaport did a quick API check with the Oracle client account to validate that it is a good key. And now we have the ability to choose one of many different on-ramp locations to jump onto the OCI network. As mentioned, my OCI resources are sitting in US East, so I have the option to connect to Oracle at CoreSite VA1 on a blue diversity zone, CoreSite VA1 on a red diversity zone, Equinix Chicago. So to keep the color coding uniform, let's go ahead and choose the CoreSite VA1. So important thing to note here is if you're trying to build an HA pair with OCI Fast Connect, you could have a red MCR and a blue MCR, and you would just build a VXC red to red, blue to blue to build out that HA pairing. All right, give this a name of OCI. And this is the rate limit. So if you recall, we chose a port speed of 1 gig. So I can't do a VXC of 2 gig, obviously, because it would exceed first of all, it would exceed the MCR and it would exceed the Oracle port that we designed. So I can go ahead and just choose 100. I'll do this on a month-to-month term or no minimum term, select next. Now I want to build my IPs. So let's go back into Oracle BGP information. So the first thing that I want to grab is my customer BGP IP address. Back into the Megaport portal. All right. So next, add BGP. So our local is .22. Peer is .21, I believe. Let's just go back and double check. Yes. Let me copy the Oracle ASN. If I had any kind of a password, I would be able to enter the password here. AWS does require a BGP password, so I would definitely have to fill out the field. Also to note, there are advanced features that can be enabled at the peer level. So if you're running an HA pair with OCI and you want to add some AS path prepend to prefer one route over the other, you can add the prepends here from 0 to 10 max prepends. So you would just pop in a number there. If you wanted to set your med values inbound outbound, you could do so here. And if you wanted to turn on BFD timers, you could select that on. This next field is for filters. So if you want to build prefix filters, which we would do at the MCR level, I'll show you that in a little bit. Build import export filters, and at the individual peer level, you could add any of those filters down here for the import permit list and IList, export permit list and IList as well. Once you built those filter lists, you'd be able to hit the drop down arrow and choose which filter you wanted to add to that individual peer. Right, let's go back here. I think we're set. Let's hit add. So what we see now is we see the peer ASN is OCI, and that's .21. The Megaport Cloud Router is 937 with a .22. We want to do the checks and balances real quick. So .21 is the OCI side, Oracle side .21. So we should be good to go. Let's hit next, add VXC, and order the service out of the shopping cart. Now we'll swivel over to my AWS portal, grab my AWS account number. Fantastic. So for AWS, we'll hit plus connection and we will select cloud. Amazon. So two different direct connect models. One is called a hosted VIF, which supports private VIF and public VIF only. The maximum bandwidth is 5 gig. And we do have the ability to dynamically scale this bandwidth in real time up and down, which is a fantastic thing to have if you're doing just a public or private VIF. Now, the majority of our customers do have transit gateways within their AWS environment. And if that is the case, the hosted connection model is the model that you would need to use. This model supports public, private, and transit VIFs. So again, transit gateway, need to do hosted connection. It does have a bandwidth of, well, per the portal 10 gig, but you can do AWS VXCs up to 25 gig now. And there's nothing that holds you back from doing a hosted connection and a hosted VIF within the same MCR or Megaport. It really just depends upon the services that you're trying to provision. So if you need a standard public VIF at 5 gig, you can do that on the hosted VIF. And then if you needed a 5 gig for a transit gateway, you could do a 5 gig hosted connection. So no problem mixing and matching the different models. I'll go ahead and do the hosted VIF as the provisioning is a little bit more automated and a little bit less work for me. So we'll go ahead and select Core Site Reston again. That's where our Megaport Cloud Router sits. US, choose my bandwidth. Again, my cloud router is 1 gig, so the maximum throughput I could put on this AWS VXE is 1 gig. So you can oversubscribe the cloud router. If I wanted to have 1 gig connection to Oracle and 1 gig connection to AWS, I could certainly do so. You have to keep in mind that there's a maximum of 1 gig of throughput at any time. So we can do 1 gig traffic one way, or split it in half 2 ways, or whatever increments that you would need. No minimum term, hit next, next again. I'll pop in my AWS account ID. This ASN would be the ASN on my AWS side, so think Direct Connect Gateway or Virtual Private Gateway. I believe that's right, 64512. If I wanted to add a BGP key here, I could. If I want to assign it a /30 for the peer between the MCR and AWS, I could add that as well, or I can simply let AWS auto assign, which I will do. Once again, quick detail regarding the service that I'm about to pay for. I'll go ahead and hit review order and order now. So as you can see, once you've got a portal account set up, which really takes you about 10 to 15 minutes, you can start deploying this virtualized environment immediately and very quickly. As I showed you, the Megaport Cloud Router turned up in about 30, not 30 minutes, turned up in about 3 minutes. And I've been able to go in and quickly deploy services to AWS and Oracle. We see right now they're in a deployable state. So it's still self-provisioning between Megaport and the specific cloud provider, but that should change to configured quickly. And I'll do a quick refresh just to see if that's happened. And then we will be well on our way to getting this set up. All right, looks like I need to go back into my account. Okay, so still in deployable state. If I go into my Oracle side, looks like we are pending partner. And if I go into my AWS Direct Connect side, it looks like we haven't, our virtual interface has not showed up yet. So waiting on those until they deploy. So going back to the Megaport Cloud Router, again, there are certain features that we talked about briefly. You can do prefix filtering. A new one that we've added is packet filtering. You can set med values. You can do BFDs. You can do AS path prepend. And when you build out these features, you apply those on the individual peer themselves. So if you wanted to set med on AWS, you would go into the AWS peer and set the med values. You may not want it on Oracle, for whatever reason. But a lot of the work goes on the individual peers. And then with the MCR itself, there are a couple of features that you set within the boundaries of the cloud router. So first, prefix filter lists. We've had these for quite some time, and we have a lot of customers that are using the lists. Again, you can build up to 50 prefix filter lists, and each of those lists can have up to 200 entries. And again, this is just helping you build route tables or determining if there's certain prefixes that you don't want advertised from one peer to the other. This is where you could build those lists. And again, they would be applied at the import export rules within the peer itself. So I could hit new list and say AWS deny, and then just start adding the prefixes to this drop down list, and then I could again apply it and make sure that whatever prefixes are here do not propagate to OCI as an example. So that is the prefix filter. And let's go back to my MCR again. Check this out. Let's do a quick refresh again. See, there was a refresh button up here somewhere, but I don't see it. Probably have to change the account again. Okay, still deployable. Next option with the MCR is to build a packet filter list. So brand new. I think it was released less than 2 weeks ago. So same concept. You can do, in this case though, you can do up to 20 packet filter lists and 50 entries in each of those. You create your list, and then you have the ability to permit or deny with your source destination IP addresses, and you can choose which protocol you want to use as far as source and destination ports. So if I'm checking TCP, protocol number 6, so you can customize building out a packet filter list utilizing this feature. All right, let's go into AWS again and see if anything is showing up. And if it doesn't, it is okay. So I can kind of explain how the process works. All right, still pending. So what's going to happen is once the connection shows up in my AWS portal, I would go ahead and accept the connection. And then I would assign it to either a direct connect gateway or a virtual private gateway. And once I've assigned it to that gateway, I'm really creating my virtual interface. If it were with AWS and I was using Hosted Connect to a transit gateway, I would accept it, assign it to a direct connect gateway, and then I would build my VIF. So I would choose between public, private, or transit VIF. I would go ahead and add the particular ASN number, ASN information, the IPs, etc. And really, once I built that out through the automation process, the BGP peering should automatically establish between the BGP peering from AWS and Oracle to the Megaport Cloud Router. What would happen then is I could look into my Looking Glass tool here, and those individual peers would show up like you're seeing here. Of course, we want this to be green. And any of the routes, once the peering has been established, any of the routes that are pointing towards these individual peers would start to propagate to the MCR. So right now we can see it looks like this is the CIDR. I'm sorry, that's the CIDR for my OCI. This is the CIDR for my AWS. But once everything is connected and working, the CIDR blocks from your VNets or VPCs would automatically propagate towards the MCR. So you'll be able to do a lookup in this route table to see really what's happening. And then from that point you can determine if you need to build a prefix filter list or not. Let's go back in here and see if there is any change. This is really slow. Usually doesn't take this long to go from deployed to configured. Give it one more shot, and if we don't see it, we can go ahead and shut this call down a little bit early. All right, still deployable. Nothing there. And nothing there. All right, well, I promise you it works, and it works really well. I've done it hundreds of times, and it's just it's a little systematic slowness, I guess, today. So with that, I hope that you were able to get some information about the Megaport Cloud Router, its use cases, how unique of a product it is, the ability to choose many different sizes depending upon what kind of workloads you have, and then of course the ability to build AWS and Oracle and Azure and IBM and GCP, and the list goes on of different hyperscalers that you can connect into a Megaport Cloud Router and let the Cloud Router do the heavy lifting from a networking perspective. And I guess I'll open that up to any questions.
No questions in the chat.
Cool. Thank you very much. And I hope that you guys all have a wonderful rest of your day and a great weekend.